Who actually believes in ghosts? Well, quite a few of you then. Who's a skeptic? Out the door then. Actually, Alan, I know you and I welcome skeptics. The reason I believe in ghosts is because I've seen them. I've actually seen 2 full-blown apparitions. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about that later, because I'm going to start about the Folk Museum. We did an investigation here many years ago. There was 2 teams, and it was the one down the steps along the corridor. I thought it was this room, but it's down the steps and along the corridor. The one team stayed upstairs with me, and another team was down in another room downstairs. We sat up there. Thank you, darling. Thank you. We sat upstairs just talking, calling out, listening, and all of a sudden we heard coming towards us along the corridor. We looked, nobody there. We waited, nobody there again. So we couldn't understand what that was, apart from it must be spirits or ghosts of the building. When we finished our little vigil, we went downstairs to meet the other group, and we never told them a thing, not a thing. They came up and experienced the same thing. Each group thought it was the other group joining us, unbeknownst to us that they'd heard it and we heard it and they didn't. So we couldn't explain that, apart from, as I said, it's the building itself. And it didn't just sound like footsteps. It sounded like boots, like army boots. I don't mean modern army boots. I mean Civil War type boots. So that was a very eerie and eventful night for us, as other things as well were happening. When you get old buildings, yes, they creak and they moan and all the rest of it. But sometimes they are not explained, and other times we have to try and prove it. Now, the other places that I've got to talk to you about, A.G. Meek's shoe shop in Westgate Street, just up the road. Oh, I think it's moved now, I believe. Yeah. Is it moved now? Okay. Do anybody know about the ghosts in there? A.G. Meek's shoe shop. Okay? Many years ago, the ladies in the shoe shop kept hearing noises upstairs. They had a little kitchenette where they'd make their tea and their coffee, and then they would go up in their break and have their tea, coffee, etc. These 2 ladies were downstairs in the shop behind the counter seeing to people, and they'd taken in turns to go upstairs. And this one day, the shop was very quiet, but they heard upstairs a spoon going in a cup as if it was stirring a cup of tea or coffee. Oh, somebody's gone up already then. They must have made it, so we'll go up. They went up there and there was nobody there. What was it? By the way, I forgot. All these stories are true. I swear they are all true. They've been told to me or I've experienced myself. Okay? They went up to find nobody there. Every day they would put a tea towel out with spoons on, cups and saucers, and ready to have their tea and coffee. When they went up, they'd heard the sound, as I said, but there was no tea cups out or saucers or even spoons. And one of the ladies said, I definitely laid that out when I came in this morning. So they went back down, served some more people, went back up, heard the spoon again, went back up, it was all back out. Nobody had been there, nobody. So they knew that something or someone was there. There's a lady they used to call Elsie. When they had the new stock come in, if you look from Westgate Street and you looked up at the building, when it was Meek's, of course, you could see boxes stacked up of the new shoes that came in. And they knew when this lady came because they could smell the next day her perfume. The perfume would be very old-fashioned, like lilac or lavender. And they think, oh, she's here again. We better go up and see what mess she's made. And lo and behold, they'd go up there. All the boxes they'd stacked when it came in were all over the floor, as if she'd looked into the boxes to see what was in there, whether she liked them or she didn't. And they would be thrown around the room as if to say, I don't like them and I don't like them. And they would have to tidy it all back up again. But not one person would stay in there on their own. Had to be 2 people because they was too frightened to see her. She didn't do anybody any harm. She was just a menace to get all these things in a mess. There's also the story there of a little boy. And he has been seen many times at the back window down St John's Lane. If you go down St John's Lane and you look back up at the very top, there's a window that is in A.G. Meeks. And this little boy has been seen many times. When we did an investigation one night, we actually had a medium with us, and he said he'd contacted this little boy, and this little boy told him his name was David. He was buried in an unmarked grave by St Mary de Crypt Church. He had fallen to his death after trying to clean the chimneys. Many years ago, the pin factory boys and girls would be here making the pins and the needles, and also the young factory girls and boys cleaning chimneys. They never found poor David's body till 2 days later. He'd literally fallen right through. But he did say that he was happy now because his name was recognised and where he was buried, although the area he was buried, because he was in an unmarked grave. He didn't have a surname because in those days orphans did not have a surname, so it was just David. And as I said, he was very happy now. So when we did another tour, or I did a ghost walk, the manager of A.G. Meeks thought it would be funny to put something up in the window. A horrible, grotesque mask like Rasputin the Mad Monk or something. And they would look up and say, there's David. No, David doesn't look like that. He certainly didn't have a beard. So I told the manager off and said, you shouldn't be putting that up there. But he thought it was funny. Now, when I went up there, the staff wouldn't go to the very top. And it had a very eerie feeling about it. It was empty, it was derelict, it wasn't used, and the mask was in a cupboard. I opened the door, being nosy as I am, and there it was. And I said, well, you need to get rid of that. Whether he did or not, I don't know, but it certainly was not David. So we've told everybody, don't look up, because it isn't David. So little David, rest in peace. Also, the cutlery has been moved around many times there. As I said, when the staff go in, the ladies behind the counter, when they are about to serve people, they sat there, and customers actually saw it as well. The door was shut. The front door was shut. They came in, shut the front door, no other window or door open. And all of a sudden there was a great big gust of wind that blew a pile of letters or letters or paperwork that was on their desk, and it just shut off the desk. No explanation, no draft, no door open, no window open. 2 customers saw it. So they couldn't explain that either. They wanted to leave the shop then, but the customers was there and they couldn't. So there was a few things there, whether it's still going on, even though it's not A.G. Meeks now, it may well be still going on with whoever is there now. I haven't been uptown for a long while since I've given up the ghost walk, so I don't really know what is about anymore. Does anybody know what it is now? No? That's next to the pace. Sorry? Oh, more flats. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, sorry. Shut up, Lynn. Okay, Age Concern Shop in Northgate Street. Anybody went down there, been down there? That's closed now as well. age concern shop in Northgate Street. A friend of mine was the manageress there, and she said that things kept moving all around the shop, paperwork and in the offices, all sorts of different things was moving. And she said, I don't know who it is, but I think it's children. Because when we say, look, please put this back, we need this paperwork, we need these invoices, they would go back and it was there, exactly where they left it. But they knew when they first went it was gone. So we went in to see what was happening there. We didn't actually hear or see the little boy, but that's not unusual because they don't have to come out if they don't want to, do they? You know, they're not at our beck and call. But what we did see, there's loads of clothes on racks as they would in a charity shop. And us being women, of course, we had to have a look through them, didn't we? While we were there, we looked through all the, oh yes, that's right, put that by, yep, put that by. And all of a sudden we looked up at the window, up at the wall. And there was a lady. Now you see the top of this wall here, this white bit up here, and you see that line going over. That's how tall that lady must have been. We saw her face. She had her hair tied back into a tight bun. And we stared at it and said, well, who's that? They're not in our party. And nobody has got their hair in a bun like that. Nobody's outside because they'd have been 10 foot tall. So we couldn't explain that either. But we think it may have been the lady that used to live there many years ago. Because at 2:30 in the morning, after a few bumps and noises and whatever, we decided we had enough and we were going home. We had our backs to the door that leads out into another room, and then outside was like a corridor, more flats I think it was built there. So anyway, we started to pack our things away, and we heard this almighty slam! The door slammed on us. Literally slammed on us. 2 young men with us saw a woman running down the corridor. We all went down after her. She'd gone, obviously gone. Invariably, when we do investigations, they always want to come out when we're going home. As if to say, we're here, we have been here, but we'll come out when we want. So she'd gone down this corridor. When we did some research, the corridor she went down was actually an outside alleyway. There is where she was running, outside the alleyway at that particular time. So you cannot always imagine how things are now to how things were. A bit like here, isn't it? You know, can you imagine things in here that are not here now, but were? Do you ever get the feeling that somebody's watching you? Do you ever get the feeling that, oh, I wish I was there then? But I don't know. It's like past life regression. My friend does past life regression. He regressed me twice. I know I'm going a little bit off, but I thought you'd like this. He regressed me twice, and I absolutely loved to talk about medieval times. But it was pretty barbaric in those days, wasn't it? But I still found an interest in it. So when he regressed me, I actually became Matilda in medieval times. And I sold fruit in the day and my body at night. Then I married a sailor. He buggered off and left me. As I put it down in my past life, I was going to, he buggered off and left me. Said it like that under hypnosis. Then I married somebody into money. So then I became Lady Matilda. Nah. So that was a nice ending, wasn't it? Okay, right. Black and white fish and chip shop in Longsmith Street. We all been in there? Yeah, we did an investigation there as well. And we went upstairs. And have you been in the restaurant in there? You literally have to run in because the floor's like this. You run to the table, near enough. In 1980 something, I think I've got the date down. Was it the date 80 something? Nope, I beg your pardon. It's 1995. some visitors came to Gloucester. 2 men, 2 ladies decided to have lunch there, and as they'd had their lunch, they were going to go to the loo to carry on with their visiting the city. The 2 ladies went to go up the stairs to the toilets, and just in front of them became an old lady that walked into the toilets. Oh, flipping it, we've got to wait now. You know what we like, ladies. There's a queue. We got to wait now. So they waited for the lady to come out. And they waited. And they waited. And they got quite worried. Where is that lady? Where has she gone? She's been in there 20 minutes. So they went down to the waitress and told her to go and have a look, see if the lady's right. She went in, she said, nobody's in there. Yes, she is. We both saw her. She went in there. Sorry, there is nobody in there. When we did some research, that used to be the old lady's living room. So she didn't go to the toilet. She went to the living room. And that's why they didn't see her. So they obviously went to the loo then, come back down and told the men. They just laughed at them and didn't believe them. They said, well, you go up there and see then. Ah, they wouldn't go, would they? Oh, no. Besides, it was the ladies. Don't know where the gents was in there. Okay, what we got next? Bookends Bookshop, which is now the Antique Centre. Oh my God, have you been in there? Yeah. Oh, that is an absolute amazing place. I went in there when it was Bookends Bookshop. And again, a friend of mine was the manageress in there. It's nice to have friends that got places, isn't it? You can get in. And she told me about the different things that's happened there. A young man running through the shop, running up the stairs. When they went to look for him, he disappeared. There was an old lady that came through and walked to the back of the shop that used to be called the old shed, where they had the old books. And they would call everybody about half an hour before they closed to come to the till, and they were closing in half an hour. They never saw that lady come back. And they wondered wherever she went, because they didn't see her come back. They didn't see her go to the front of the door, the front door. So again, we did some research, and we believe that she went down the alleyway that is adjacent to, right on side by side to the building, where it was the original walkway to the cathedral. So she wasn't walking through the shop, or she was, but she was going through the old walkway. And that's why they didn't see her coming back. Also, a young man has been seen at the back of the Bookends Bookshop. And he was always walking around, tall, slim, dark hair, short hair, always holding a book and walking through the shop area, the back part areas. And when some people can actually see him, not everybody could, and they spoke to him, he didn't answer, and then they saw him walk through the bookshelves, literally disappear through the bookshelves, never to be seen again. Until next time. But he never spoke to anyone. We also went down into the bottom part of the bookshop, and beyond a door that no customers are allowed to go in. But we went in, and we went down underneath. Now, you know what cellars and basements are like? Spiders, cobwebs, dark, smelly. But we loved it. Oh, it was lovely. So we went down there. We took pictures. Absolutely nothing. But that's the paranormal. That's nothing. So we came back, was discussing what we didn't see. And we were sat in a small room in a circle like this, talking about it. Now, I was sat down, there was a lady sat next to me, and then there was the doorway. Behind the doorway was exactly where we had just come from. Can I borrow you for a minute, please?
Indeed you can.
Oh, lovely jubbly. Right, okay, bring your chair then, darling. Yeah. Sorry, just got to get it right, got to get it right. So you've just been down the corridor with me, okay? And all the other people, right. So you're sat here, okay? Yeah, there we go. And I'm saying, what, is it Liz, isn't it?
Liz.
Yeah, yeah. Right, I was saying, now Liz, we didn't really see anything, did we? That's a shame, isn't it? But, you know. And then all of a sudden Liz said, shh, hang on, Lyn. Go on, say it, say it. Shh, can't get the star. Go on, shh, Lyn, go on.
Hang on, Lyn.
Yeah, what is it? A noise. Can you hear a noise? She said she heard this dragging sound coming from the area that we'd just come from. And I went, oh my God. She said, yeah, it sounds like somebody's pulling a heavy bag of potatoes or something. Eh? Or a body, yeah. Don't, hey.
Sorry.
She bloody pinched it. Right, so then it come nearer and nearer. She said, oh my God, I don't like this. It's getting really nearer, really louder and louder. And then it stopped right outside the door. And Liz just went, Lyn, what is it? And I said to her, excuse me, I don't know you. Get off my lap. And we just couldn't stop laughing. We were all so scared. We had to change our underwear, especially Liz. And then we went back to the same area to see what we'd heard. Absolutely nothing again. Absolutely nothing. When I did some research, believe it or not, the monks used to go down in the tunnels, away from the public, to the pubs. Yeah? And to see the ladies of the night. Yes, they did. Nasty habits they had. Naughty habit. Oh, I know, that's an awful bloody joke. Anyway, we found out that something had happened and a lady was murdered. So was it the monk pulling her body along that corridor? And did he bury her right outside the door where he stopped? Will we ever know? I don't think we will. Unless we dig it up. And I can't see that happening. Thank you, Liz. You may take your chair back. Thank you, darling. And that is as true as I'm sat here. And it was pretty nasty down there. So we wanted to go again. But they changed it to something else, didn't they? The pound shop. Was it the pound shop or the pound stretcher? But yeah. A lady in the 1800s called Eliza Johnson fell in love with an actor, because it was a theatre then, it was a theatre royal. She didn't love him back. She was so distraught, she committed suicide in that building. And underneath the basement, there's a corridor, another tunnel, and there was a massive letter E in mould on the wall that they couldn't wash off. And it only appeared when she was about. I don't know whether it's still there. I haven't been down there recently because I think that's closed now as well, isn't it? Is it? Yeah? And one night, another friend, you know, honestly, this is true. Another friend of mine was the manageress there. And she, honestly, it's true. Well, 14 years of doing the ghost walks. Got to have some friends, haven't you? So she said to me, Lyn, you're going to have to come in here. She said, because I can sense that lady. I can hear crying. When we've tidied up the towels at night, we come in the morning, they're all over the place. And she said, I've sensed her, I see her shadows. I said, okay, we'll come in and investigate. So anyway, it was a while before we could. But meanwhile, there was a massive pile of stock on these pallets right by the door. Right by the glass doors. Ooh, glass stabbed me. Glass doors, and this pallet of stock was there, right? They had caught it on the cameras, and this lady came from behind the pallets and pushed all the stock over, and it went all over the floor. They said she looked in Victorian dress. Now, I've worked in warehouses where you stack on pallets stock and wrap it tightly with cling film. There's no way one person could push that over, but she did. She pushed the lot over, and it was caught on camera. It was on BBC radio or no, it was on television because it was caught. They showed it on television, I think. Not sure what date. I'm sorry about that. I can't remember. I know it was a long time ago, but I think you can find it on YouTube if you look "Lady in the Shop." But yeah, you should be able to find it. So with that, I said to my friend, right, we definitely got to come in now. And what happened? Their head office said no. We do not want any investigations, we don't want anybody in here, and we don't want this story told. And I said, oh, well, that's a blooming shame, isn't it? You'd get more people in there. And they were saying, well, we might not. So they wanted us to destroy the tape, but not before my friend gave me a copy. See, so I got a copy of it there. So as I say, look on YouTube, you should be able to see it. We did try and do an investigation, but obviously she was a bit worried about losing her job. At the very back of the shop, there was a cupboard. And when you went into that cupboard, there was a trap door. And somebody went down there, not me, I can't get down there. And he said that it was very big down there. It would have been a big tunnel, but it was all boarded up or bricked up and loads of rubbish. Lots of rubbish. The council chucked down these places to fill them in. And a lot of people would say or argue that there were that many tunnels. There might not have been, but I know there were because I've been in them. But if mice or rats was in there, you wouldn't get Lynny in them. No, I was too scared. But I do know that they are in there. Avant-Garde in Westgate Street, the bottom of Westgate Street is a hairdresser's and friends of mine. And they've got two buildings. One's a hairdresser's, next door was something else. And I went down into their cellar in the trapdoor, and there was only 6 of us. And I said to her, there's something down here, isn't there? And she said, well, I wouldn't be surprised. I said, is it children? She said, there should be all sorts. It was a medieval cellar. And next door was a medieval cellar. As a lot of places is in Westgate Street. I love Westgate Street, it's my favourite street. It was always busy. 27 pubs in one time. 27 pubs! You'd be legless, wouldn't you? So anyway, we went down there, we did an investigation, and 3 of us had the little EVPs. We call them dictaphones, but little EVPs. And when I said to my friend, there's some concrete slab at the bottom of these steps, and I had my foot on them, and I said, there's something under here, Pam. She said, well, I wouldn't be surprised. I said, why? She said, Fred West done a lot of work here. Oh my God, no, you serious? She said, yeah, I'm serious, he did. When we got the tapes home, and I'd said that, now I'm not going to say the actual words because it's swearing, but it said on there, get off my effing back. Literally, all 3 dictaphones picked that up. Get off my effing back. We thought, now that's a modern word. But apparently it was used. The F word was used many years ago. So who the hell was I stepping on? And that is pretty scary to know that. And none of us said it. I swear to you, none of us said it. We didn't even hear it until we played this back. And this is a lot of the times when we've done investigations, you don't always hear it, but you do on EVPs, and you don't always visualize it until you get these camcorders. Yeah? Now, the new inn, oh my God, the new inn. When we went to the new inn, which I've done many, many, many times, my friend went down into the cellar after a walk, and he had some people with him, medieval cellar under there. And he said, if you don't mind, I'd like to stay down here on my own. So they said, okay, we'll go upstairs. So they went up, and you could hear, the creaking of the footsteps above. And then he turned the lights out. He added a camcorder, and he said, I don't like it down here anymore. It's on its own. He didn't hear anything. But when he got home and heard his camcorder, played his camcorder back, and he'd said, I don't like it here anymore, a voice said, "Then go." Just like that. "Then go." I thought, oh, that's not nice. Not nice. But, intrigued as I was, I went down there a month later. Intrigued and nosy, all right. So I went down there a month later. And I went down into the cellar. And I said to the people about what happened to Paul. And I said, but I'm not asking you lot to go, you're staying with me. The medieval wall had a hole. And it was from decaying of the bricks and the sand and whatever was there. And where people have gone down and had to fiddle with it to see what was behind there. And I said, what if a hand suddenly come out of the wall? And they all laughed. And I said, oh, you never know, do you? When I listened, we never heard nothing else again. When I listened to the recording back, as soon as I said, what if a hand come out of the wall? We heard, oh, I was stood by that. What was it? And I thought, hang on a minute. One of my friends had a... Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. One of my friends had a real snotty cold. I reckon it was him. Then I heard him talking. No, that wasn't him. So that, behind that medieval wall, this is the only thing I cannot verify is true. But 4 different mediums have told me they will not go down there because there's bodies behind that wall. You've got the medieval wall, then you've got new breave blocks right on the corner. They bricked that up because they reckon there was an entrance to a cellar, a tunnel that led underneath the road. And a gentleman, if you can call him a gentleman, used to work in the stables in the New Inn. And he frequented with the ladies. He loved the ladies. But if they got pregnant, he would kill them, throw them off the balcony and bury them in behind the wall. As I say, I cannot verify this. I don't think it would even be recorded. But how come these 4 mediums said that there was something behind there? And even I think there is, because it is very eerie under there. Very eerie. There's lots more stories I could tell you about the New Inn. I've got to tell you one more about that one. I did a charity night with some friends. My friend and I stayed in the double bed in the Lady Jane Grey room, which is supposedly haunted. Her daughter and her daughter's friend. And we stayed in there the night, even though I only lived 10 minutes up the road, but you stay in a haunted room and you ain't going to say no, are you? Well, not if you're a ghost lady. So I stayed there with them. 5:45 in the morning. Now I know it was 5:45 because I woke up and I saw it was a little bit light. The curtains was drawn, but there's a little bit of light and I could see the time. And I was woken up by this young man's voice. It sounded like a young man. And he said, hello. Hello? Who's that? Nothing. Still asleep. 10 or 15 minutes later. Hello? Yes! Who is it? Still asleep. No answer. 20 minutes or so later, almighty crash in the bathroom behind us. That woke my friend up. She said, oh, Lyn, what are you doing waking me up? It's early, isn't it? I said, it's not me. We got a visitor. She said, you know who it is. It's a little girl. I said, no, it was a young man's voice. She said, well, go and have a look. I said, can't you go? She said, you're the bloody ghost lady. You go. And anyway, you're up and dressed. You go. All right then. Open the door. Turn the light on. Nothing. Nothing had moved. Nobody in there. Nothing indicating anything had crashed in there. Oh, what the hell was all that? So I went back to tell her she'd gone back to sleep. Thank you. Nice of you. And the girls were still asleep. I waited for nearly an hour, compelled to stay in that room for whatever reason, so that they got up, till they got up. And I could have gone down and had an early breakfast, but something made me stay in that room. And yet nothing else happened. When we finally got down, we went down to breakfast, told the then manager, and he said, oh yes, he said, we've heard this story. There's a young man that rented or hired that room, whatever you want to call it. And he hung himself in the bathroom. I went, wow, that's horrible. And he said, yeah, it was a young man and he hung himself in the bathroom. So I've been back there since and I thought, hang on a minute, there's nowhere that anybody could hang themselves here. There was no beams or anything in the bathroom. But if you go out of Lady Jane Grey room, along the corridor, through a door, there's a door right on by the wall, which would have led into the Lady Jane Grey room years ago. But they've changed it around and made changed it to the bathroom. Probably it was a bigger room and then they put the bathroom in. Because above is a beam. The beam's been cut off. So the beam would have gone into the bathroom. So he would have been able to hang himself from that beam. Ooh. Every time I say that, whoa.
How far back are you talking?
Sorry?
How far back?
Oh, I have no idea, Kat. It's got to be 20 years. Okay. Easy. Yeah, 20 years, easy. Sorry, darling. I've had so much going on. I just can't remember every date. Because years ago, we didn't always record it. I used to say to people, right, I want you to come in, I want you to record this, I want you to do this, I want you to listen, I want you to record everything. If you fart, I want to know. And what time and how long. Because we've got to discount it from everything else.
I kind of meant, when was that supposed to have happened?
What, the boy? The young man? I've no idea. Oh. No, sorry, I've no idea. The landlord didn't even tell me, he just said some time ago. So he didn't even tell me. But as I said, it was true. So yeah, it's whether we record everything, isn't it, as well? Right, what else have we got here? Coach and Horses. The Coach and Horses pub. That's down by Kingsholm. Not far from Kingsholm, is it? Yeah. St Catherine Street. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, whoever said that. Can't see you. Thank you. You into rugby? Who was that? Oh, it was you, sorry, darling. Right, Coach and Horses. In 1997, a landlord and his family complained about the noises and bangs and bumps in the place. And it had to be investigated. They didn't know what it was, who it was, whatever. And so we decided to go and have a look. I didn't actually like the place when I went in. And some people stayed the night, and I said, well, I only live 10 minutes up the road. I'm not going to actually stay tonight because I don't think it's worth it. It's because I was bloody frightened. I thought, no, even me. So, bear with me a minute. Oh yes, his 11-year-old son, or the landlord's son, he saw an old-fashioned dressed young girl in white pantaloons. I had to read that one because it's a long time since I said that story. And they didn't believe him. He's only 11. But so what? You could see spirits, ghosts, whatever age, if you're meant to. And he saw her. And apparently it was years ago when another family lived there. And they got murdered. The man murdered his family and then killed himself. That isn't always recorded either. But you get people telling you over the years, you know, word of mouth sort of stuff. So that could have been what the noises, the bangs and bumps and everything was. Who knows? But it's just weird how sometimes you can get ghosts and spirits come forward. And like the young man, why didn't he just say anything else? But over the years I've experienced with paranormal, they just want to be known that they lived and what they'd done. And even though he did that, whether he felt guilty or what, I don't know. But as soon as I mentioned that story about him, and no name, nothing's happened. So he must have been satisfied that that was just what he wanted, to be known that that's what happened to him. So I really don't know. Now the Dick Whittington. Oh, Dick Whittington. That's another place. Very, very haunted. You been in there?
No, my friend said whenever she used to go down to the ladies down in the
That's
bar,
yeah.
she said she just felt sick. And
that's it.
Really oppressive, and
yeah.
she just couldn't.
That's right. When it was a nightclub, yeah, before they went to the kennel club, I mean Casey's. Well, we did call it that, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
So
nights then.
Yeah, yeah. Left your handbag in the middle of the floor and danced around it. Oh God. So apparently in the Civil War and around 1604. Am I right, Simon? 1604?
No, 1640 is the city of Gloucester.
Oh, right. What am I thinking of then? Hang on then. Ah, the plague, sorry. 1604 was the plague. Well, not perfect, am I? Am I? No. 1604 was the plague. Massive plague everywhere. There was a gentleman who lived at the Dick Whittington called John Taylor. He was an alderman of the city, what you'd call a councillor today. He knew about the plague, and he had a young girl that was dying of the plague. And she was literally boarded up alive downstairs in the cellar, which is now the ladies' toilets. That's why people hate that area, why they've heard a girl crying. Very oppressive. In fact, when we did an investigation there, a young man, even though it was the men's toilets, the ladies was next to it, he come out of there and he felt sick and he felt somebody was watching him. One of the mediums that was working that night, she felt sick and she had to go home. She was that bad. And she lived out in the Forest of Dean. Every time she could stop somewhere to lay by, she was sick before she got home. She wasn't okay until the next day, but she was literally physically sick. Now this John Taylor was found out and was fined £100 because he didn't tell anybody about this young girl. And in those days, it was a lot of money. But he also liked to have dinner parties upstairs and invite people with money and people in the know. So that's why he didn't want to tell them. But they banned him from being an alderman, fined him the £100. And one night, when we went there, the stairs going up next to the kitchen goes into the flat area where they all were. And the landlord had gone out with his family and left us to it. Left us alone in a pub. Anyway, we were fine. I went up the stairs and I thought, oh, I'm being a bit nosy here. But I could hear voices. And I thought, hang on, the landlord's gone out. So I got halfway up the stairs and I stopped and I thought, no, I'll go a little bit further. And I thought, oh God, what if they come out the door? They say, what are you doing? So I came back down. 3 o'clock in the morning, bang, 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 on the glass door downstairs. I thought, who the hell's that? It was the landlord. Come back with his family. Can you let us in? I went, oh, I thought you were already in. I thought you were upstairs. Talking to people. I could hear chinking of glasses, people talking as if they were having a party, a dinner party. Oh, he said, you've heard that as well, have you? And we reckon it was John Taylor still doing his parties. So I said, yeah, we heard it. Another night, because we have done several, another night, my friend Paul and I, we'd had a lot of different things happening that night in there. Chairs had been moved around. We saw shadows behind the bar of a dark figure. All sorts of things happening in there. And at 2:30, 3 o'clock again, we decided to go home. And we got to the glass doors at the bottom, where you go up the alleyway into the front. And I said, Paul, stop. He said, what? I said, well, let's wipe our feet on this mat. Leave the energies here. Literally, leave the energies. He said, oh, okay then. So we did that. And then we decided to go out the door where Grumpy, my husband, was waiting to pick us up. Can I borrow you?
Sure, yeah.
Right. Glass doors in front of us.
Yep.
Okay? You're Paul, my friend, right?
Okay.
We were just going to open the door. There's a bar, right? Ready? Go to open the door. Stop! We better wipe our feet. Wipe our feet. Right, okay. Hang on then. So we wiped. And then we were going to open the door again. Now, as true as I'm standing it, no, we didn't open it then.
Okay.
We didn't open it.
Oh.
Can't get the staff. Did I say it was open?
You said open the door.
Yeah, I know.
Shut that door.
Yeah, shut that door. We didn't quite open it. So, as true as I'm standing here, he heard in his head, I heard in my head, as we were stood there about to open it, you're not going, are you? And we looked at each other. I said, did you hear that? And he said, yeah, but in my head. And we both said, what? And we both said, you're not going, are you? We opened the door, right, let's go! We went that fast, we bottlenecked into the door and we couldn't get bloody out fast enough. Thank you, darling. I got up the lane, got into the car and told my grumpy said, what's the matter with you? I said, we just been scared shitless getting out of the pub from a ghost. He said, well, ain't that what you went for? I said, yeah, I suppose so. But, you know, it was pretty scary. So, ladies and gentlemen, any questions? No questions? Okay, let me have a look, see if there's anything else I've missed. Oh, by the way, if anybody would like my books, I've ordered some more. Where are they? Okay. Paranormal Gloucester took me 3 months to write, because it's all in here. And that one took 7 years, because I was lazy. They are £10, but tonight, if you want to order one, they're £8. And I will sign them when they come, and I will deliver them free, as long as you're not in New Zealand or somewhere. So let me know if you are interested. Okay, let me just check that I've mentioned all the... Oh, no, I haven't. No. Are you all right for time? Are we all right for time? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, is he behind that camera still, or is he gone?
No, we're all right for time.
I was good. Oh, we all right for time, yeah? I don't want to leave anybody out. Oh, I've left a couple out. Are we sure we're all right for time? Everybody okay? Right.
Isn't McDonald's the most haunted building?
McDonald's, in Westgate Street.
Yeah.
To be honest, I haven't heard it is, but it was the first bank from Jemmy Wood. If you see the plaque outside, Jemmy Wood was a famous banker, a real miser. Apparently Charles Dickens based his story about Scrooge, on Jemmy Wood. Jemmy Wood is buried in St Mary de Crypt Church, and he owned that as a bank when it was first opened. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I haven't heard anything. But you never know, you never know. Yeah, Bull Lane. There's a little pub there in Bull Lane. It's been named several different places. And at the time that oh God, again, it was in the 80s, I think. No, 90s. I don't know. Anyway, the two people that ran it said that they hear piano playing most nights. But there's no piano. Not in their building, or next door's building, or over the way. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. We'll have to come in and have a look then. So we went in, there was only 6 of us, and we had a high EMF reading, electromagnetic field, if you didn't know, a high reading by the fireplace. But there was nothing there electrical to actually record that. And then they said that on their camera, they had a little camera thing on their desk, or bar, sorry, and it focused upstairs, and there was a man sat up there in dark clothes and by this fireplace, and they said, hang on a minute, there's only one entrance. They had to go through the door, the bar was at the back, there's only a little bar, and up the stairs. They would have seen him coming in, but they didn't, and they didn't see him going out either. So when they went, they saw him on the camera, they went downstairs to check. There was no video camera in there, and it always the way, so they couldn't verify that he was there. But when we went there, we got a very high content of energy or electricity around that area. Then again, 2-ish in the morning, we decided to pack up, go home, and we were all sat round talking about the night, and their sash windows, all of a sudden, we heard boom, boom, boom. I thought, what the hell is that? We all looked round and said, something's fell off the shelf or the window. No, nothing had fallen. The sash windows wouldn't even open. They haven't been open that long, they wouldn't open. I said, well, that sounds like the window. And they all disagreed with me. He said, no, it didn't. It sounded like something had fallen somewhere. And then I found out that it once was a butcher's shop. I said, I know what it was. It was a butcher with his axe coming down, getting the pig's head off or whatever. Sorry if anybody's... And the head went boom, boom. And they laughed and said, nah, something fell off the shelf. I said, oh, bugger off. My bloody story's a lot spookier. I'm keeping to that. I reckon it was. A butcher shop. Boom, boom. So anyway, we disagreed over that one. But a lot of other things have been happening there. I haven't been in there for a long time now, so I need to go in and see if anything else has happened. But as I said, to actually see somebody upstairs as well, and then there was nobody there, and it's annoying that they didn't have it caught on camera. Now, my last one is Cafe Rennie. Sadly, my friend Paul passed away recently, and we had lots of fun, different things down in the cellar, investigations. If anybody's has anybody been down Cafe Rennie? Have you been in the downstairs cellar at the back, what they call the deep six?
Yes, because when you used to do the tours,
yes,
there, I came on.
Yeah, we went down there, and none of the staff liked going down there. If they had to get rid of some stock, they just chuck it in. So eventually there was piles of it, and we had to make a path to go through. If you went to the right at the back, and you turn right up a little slope, at the back there was stone cubicles, and they all had W1, W2 to W20 either side of that particular space. And that was used in World War II by MI5. It was a secret underground bunker, and they stored lots of important information under there. And then it was all boarded up, and that was before Paul had it. And then when Paul had it, he opened it all up, and that's what they found. The documents had to go back to London, of course, because they were very important. Now, is it haunted down there? Oh, is it? Oh. One lady said that she saw a RAF man in full uniform. We turned the lights out, and then we turned them back on, and then that was it. She was there. He was there. And she described him, full uniform, blonde hair, blue eyes, cap, everything. So I'm not going to say no, she didn't, just because I didn't see him. We've also heard children down there. We had a camcorder go in, and then we decided to go upstairs for coffee, and we'll come back down later and see if it's caught anything. When we come back down, it didn't catch anything visual, but we heard the children say, "Quick, they've gone." And there was no children there. There was nobody up there. There was also some French students that came once. 17 French students, French ladies, and this middle-aged lady, I'm going to say, was looking after them. And they came for the tour. Now, I had a gentleman, he's sadly passed now, bless him, that dressed up, black hat, cloak, stick, like me. And he would come behind at a queue. We'd say a queue or something, that he'd come out. Now, many years ago, that was owned by Abraham Saunders, who was a wine merchant. So the vaulted ceilings in there would have been ideal for keeping wine and ale and all the rest of it. So he would stand there behind the stairs at a little alcove, if you like, and the lights would go out. And I would tell them the story of Abraham Saunders. And then all of a sudden I'd say, something I can't remember the exact words, but say I said, "Abraham Saunders used to be here." That was his cue. He'd come out and said, "Get out of my cellars!" And he had a white face, he had the stick, he had everything. He even frightened me. He was right behind me once, and I didn't get out the way, and he pushed me. I'm like, "Oh, get out!" Anyway, we turned the lights on. There was one lady sat down, and I said to the elderly lady that looked after them, "Is she all right?" She looks a bit pale. She said, "Yeah, she's all right." "You sure?" "Yeah, she's all right. She's got a heart problem." What? Are you kidding me? We could have killed her. Why did you tell me?
Add another ghost to the tour.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, "I can't believe you didn't tell me." She said, "Well, I didn't think." I said, "Madam, you are on the ghost walk." That ain't French, she said. "You are bound to be scared at some point." But she was fine, thank God. So every time after that, when I met people, I said, "Right, has anybody got any allergies, any fears, or anything that you need to tell me about, because we're going down in the cellar. Because if you don't tell me and something happens, you ain't claiming on my insurance. So there you go. That's Cafe Rennie. I have got loads more up here. Is there any questions before we go?
Lyn, can I ask you a question?
Yes, certainly.
You said something about sort of encountering some ghosts like back in the 1990s, so you believe.
Yeah.
Is that the most recent ghost?
No.
Because
I think it probably
about
is.
30 years ago.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has been recent, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like a lot of people say, why has it always got to be back years ago? Why isn't it modern?
Yeah.
The answer to that is I don't know. I mean, it's up to them whether they want to come back or not. I mean, the very, very first full-blown apparition I ever saw was 30 odd years ago. And believe it or not, it was Ruth Ellis,
Really?
the last woman in Britain to be hung.
How did you see her?
Right, I'll cut it short. There was 150 of us went to go and see Most Haunted when they did a question and answer session. That was when we were fans. Nah, sorry if you're fans. But we went to Caesar's nightclub in London, in Southam. And they were there, done the questions and answers, then they went and we just stayed and done an investigation. Massive place, or demolished now. Massive place. So my friend and I decided, where are we going to go then? Everybody else goes somewhere. We'll go up in the balcony area, right? So I go up in the balcony area. Now I'm about here. I don't fall or break my bloody neck. And she's further than that desk, right, in front of me. So I shouts out to her, hey Nick, where's this ghost then? She said, oh, up there somewhere, usually could smell perfume. I went, oh, I can't really see anything. So anyway, I had this camcorder, it was pretty naff then, it's pretty antique now I think. And I said, well, I can't film anything, it's dark. Only thing we had on was the little emergency lights, you know them emergency lights. Everything else was pitch black. So I had my camcorder, I was doing this, and then all of a sudden I stopped. Because in the doorway, it was well lit up. And this woman was stood there. And I just went, oh shit. Sorry, that is what I said. Sorry. Sorry, kids. And she went, shh. I said, what? She said, shh, they're doing a seance. I went, oh, sorry. And off I went. Caught my friend up, never said a word. Normally, we always say something because we want them to experience it. But I never said anything. And it wasn't until I went home the next day, 6 o'clock in the morning, caught the train, went to bed, slept for 15 hours solid, which isn't unusual for me because I got fibro, but that's an excuse. I slept for 15 hours, been up all night as well. And I woke up into this bloody cold sweat. I thought, what the hell was that? Who was that? Why did I see her? Why did nobody else see her? Why was it lit up when everywhere else was dark? Why didn't I tell anyone? I rung all my friends up and they said, nope, we didn't see her, we didn't hear her. And I said, well, I said to my friend Nikki, well, didn't you find anything strange, unusual? She said, the only thing I found unusual was you went quiet. What does she mean? I thought, ex-friend now. No, she's not. So I thought, well, I don't know. And for months and months, I could not fathom out why I didn't say anything. And the only explanation I've got is that I must have went into a mini shock. I knew what I saw, my brain didn't register or whatever, I don't know. But I didn't capture on the camcorder because I told you it was an old one. But I did capture her voice, and I've still got it. And my late son, bless him, took it from the old VHS thing and put it on a CD, and I've still got it. I sent off the original, and it was investigated, no, not investigated, you know what I mean, analysed by experts. They said, yes, it is the voice of a ghost or a spirit because it has higher octaves than us. And I spoke to some of the Most Haunted crew and they said, you've described Ruth Ellis. And that's where she worked, in the kitchen, and she was stood at the top of the stairs. Her hair, her dress, everything. And that was her. So there you go. That's the end of me tonight. Sleep well, everyone. Good night. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it.